are probably familiar with our website. This is where you can see our like existing templates. We've added many templates, which we're going to cover today. But let's go ahead and take a new starter perspective. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, Alara will be responding to your questions in the messages section, or you can wait until the end of the presentation and then we're gonna kind of cover it in the end if you want to open up your voice and stuff. So, okay, we're gonna create a new presentation and look at some of the features we have ready. So you'll see once you get to the sample decks, normally there were not that many maybe templates, but now we've added a lot. We can see how many. If you click the all button, you'll see like a lot of new things. Particular things that I'm super excited about is the new like social media strategy and content strategy proposals, and then like marketing plans, marketing proposals, sales reports, like all kind of like great things that are really applicable to like many businesses that are like functioning today. And also we've created like some COVID specific templates, then like free cheat sheets, vocabulary flashcards, like those kind of things that are like relevant to online courses as well. So let's, for the purpose of this demo video, let's go ahead and create, where is my social calendar? Just give me 1 second to find that. Let's go ahead and kind of going off of Vivian's interest, let's create a proposal. Let's go for it. So you'll see something really neat in this point. Normally, we used to have to like kind of scroll through to access the other presentation slides, but now like because we've noticed some people will create decks with like up to 50 slides, and that's just going to be burdensome and time consuming for you to be scrolling. So like on top, we've created the jump between slides optionalities so that you guys can like literally immediately jump to that slide. Say you want to go to the 12th slide, you jump there and it's immediately accessible to you right there. And then I'm going to jump back to the first slide here. And then for all new starters with our templates, the neat thing is we usually have the structure ready for you so that you can kind of like work on the existing template and just enter in the content and change the images according to your needs. So that saves you a lot of time into like creating an end product that will work. But obviously you can like play around with a template and add custom slides that you would like to add. And in our custom slides section, you'll see a lot of new slides functionality. So you guys are probably also already familiar with the forums features, because those give a lot of opportunity for you to like collect lead information from your prospect, get like feedback forms. If you're like creating an application for your online course, it's an application form, get in touch form where you like drop your contact information and they can ask to get in touch with you or like send you a customized email. So those things are like super accessible for anyone who's trying to like build a business, for small businesses, anyone who's trying to like create an online coaching business or even online courses. So that's a great feature that we've integrated fairly recently. But one of the newest features we have is the rating slide. So let me go ahead and show how that works for you. So we would normally put this in one of the later slides, but because I'm going to first start out by spotlighting the new features we have, that's why I wanted to kind of cover the Rate Us thing. So Rate Us is unique because when you're doing a presentation, in the end, you can give like, you would normally open up the floor for questions or then ask for feedback if you were doing the presentation like 101 to people. But now we're doing a lot of our presentations online, and it's not as easy to get the rating through like normally like the chat section of your like Zoom or through asking for your emails and stuff. So like this kind of gives people the immediate access to providing you with feedback. And what you can do here is you can work with the title of it. You can change it up to like whatever you like, and then there are options of like how many icons there will be, and then you can add a description to like what this rating is going to be about, and then you can also make it required, and then in the end you can like work with the submit button. You can even change what that is going to link to, or then like what it's going to say, and then what's interesting here is you can make it a free text input, an option list, or a rating list, as we've mentioned before. So this is a really nice feature that I hope you guys capitalize on. Another feature that I really wanted to cover is actually another slide feature that we have right here. I'm going to go over it right now. It's the table feature that we recently launched. We've already had the charts feature. Let me clear Melissa's pop-up message from here. So you guys are probably familiar with the chart feature where you can create like customize the chart and then the title. And then this is also a great feature because a lot of our users were familiar with like creating, if you're working in consulting or anything that works with analytics and a lot of data, what's going to be really important for you is to create infographics and just graphs in general that will like kind of pile the content together and then help you deliver that to your audience in a more discreet and direct way. That's kind of showcasing and building up from data and research. And so the graph feature is amazing, but then the new table feature is also like super applicable for our needs because what we like our designers have worked really hard on this feature. You can edit the table and then add as many rows as you like, and then add columns, and then just type in what's going to be in the table content. And I've literally never had to deal with a simpler and easier table tool to use. I've used like Excel, and like believe me, I hate Excel. And now I'm just going to create my tables on Decktopus because it's like intuitively designed so that I can like work on it from like a perspective of like a new beginner who's not really professional with like table creation, graph creation, and Excel sheets. So definitely a great feature that we've recently created. Another thing that I think will definitely save our users a lot of time is the bulk copy from existing deck feature that we have. So say you've already created a sales proposal in the past and you probably have a couple slides back there in that older version of your presentation. That's going to be super applicable to the new proposal you're going to make. You go to add a slide and say copy from another existing deck. And here you will have access to all your previous decks. And so let's say I wanted to take something from my business plan. Usually we used to only be able to copy just one slide from that deck, but now we can do bulk. So let's say I can take the first 4 slides and then integrate it into my current presentation, which is super helpful because as you know, Decktopus is one of our primary service offerings is just to save time for people who are trying to build good looking end products in a short amount of time. So we've always like when we're creating new feature, we always want to prioritize, okay, what's going to save our users time? Even if it's something like unique that we're creating, we want it to be used in a way that's just going to be usable and applicable in the shortest amount of time. So that's why copying in bulk is like something that you guys can capitalize on for sure. And then something that I want to kind of highlight in our forms feature that was requested to us from one of our users actually, which is like super good because we love user feedback and we love like shaping the product with your feedback, which is why in the end of this presentation, I'm going to ask for some feedback on like potential new features as well. What we integrated there is kind of add this thing called GDPR, which is kind of like a legal consent kind of thing. So say you are kind of asking your users to like drop in their email. We would like to, we kind of like created the GDPR there to kind of like ask for your users' legal consent as they're dropping their email because they're sharing confidential information maybe, or like they're sharing kind of sensitive information. So like we want to be able to ensure that you guys won't be coming across any legal issues later on. So that's why we have added the GDPR. And so you can like kind of navigate who the responses will be published with. And then in the settings, this is where you add the GDPR. So say you added GDPR, you can kind of like target the consent text, which is, yes, I would like to receive updates, and then the placeholder text, the button text, and then the message that comes after. And here you'll see if this is on, a checkbox appears above the submit button, and then you can also make the form submitting required. So definitely trying to like cover all the bases of legal frameworks so that we can ensure that your end product and the information you collect is consensual and you can fully use that information to later do like emailing, outreach, and and so on. So, oh my God, I'm gonna sneeze 1 second. Sorry about that. And I couldn't sneeze. That happens all the time to me. You wouldn't believe. Okay, so that kind of covers all of our newer features, but I want to kind of take the time for the potential newcomers in here that are just recently getting acquainted with Decktopus to kind of like showcase some of our futures, and maybe this will be kind of like a recap for our like longer term users who are familiar with the product, but like this is your opportunity to kind of recap on like some of the features, and maybe you forgot these features existed, so that you can fully capitalize on the service. So as you can see, there is on the top of this deck, you'll see a recording button. So say you're sharing this presentation with someone, but you're not actually going to be able to physically give the presentation. You can record your voice as you're giving the presentation. So when you share the presentation is delivered to them with the voice recordings. So you're not even going to be sharing your kind of like going to be presenting live. It's just going to be your voice recorded in the background. And we kind of like record your voice. We can delete it, you can replay it, and then you add it there. We can also have a focus mode where you can only focus on the existing slide that you're working on. And what happens here is you like, if you're going to edit the title, you come in, you type whatever you're going to type, and then that just immediately reflects back to your slide deck. And then another option we have is the swap colors option, where you click it and you see the alternative coloring scheme. Just as we're talking about coloring, I kind of want to go back to the customized design optionality we have. That's also a relatively new option that we created because we usually used to offer a limited number of fonts and colors, but we had a lot of requests about like custom color palettes and custom fonts. So say you have a brand identity and a tone of voice that's like super set in stone. So you always use this one specific font. So you always use this one specific color code. You can implement that in your decks. How you can upload your brand font here if you don't like the fonts that we are using. And also one thing that I want to highlight again here is Decktopus is one of like our primary features, is that once you kind of make a change, it applies to the entire deck, so that it's like we ensure consistency in that. So that's like super nice, because normally with like tools like PowerPoint, you make edits in a single slide and it's like you have to change that in every single slide. It takes up so much time. But with our functionality, it just applies to every slide. So like any kind of design aspect that you change is just going to be consistent across. And then with the color palettes as well, we have our kind of custom color palette options that we offer there. And then, I don't know why that happened. And then you can add your brand colors here, where you type in the color code and it's probably going to immediately like be given to you. You can even color code from here. I just love blue, which is why I'm just going to choose blue. So yeah, we can custom color code it in that way. And you can, even if you created, if you kind of like went with a design template in the beginning, you have the option to go back and change that immediately and not have nothing happen to your content. So say you want to kind of jump back to like maybe minimal, you can do that through like clicking this and your content will like still be there. So that's also like something fun that I feel is really important for our users to use. So kind of want to go further here with the slide settings. Here you can add footer notes, footer logos that will be reflecting on all slides. So I just enable that, add a footer note, say like, maybe if this is a confidential document, you can say this is confidential. And then you'll see in the bottom of all slides, it's just going to reflect there. But let's turn it off for the time being. And you can add your footer logo. Like if you want your logo to kind of like be apparent in all the slides, you can make that happen. And then obviously, like once you've finished your working with your slide deck, you can rehearse it before you present it. And something nice that we have here is a lot of the time people will have like 15 minutes to finish a presentation, or like there's an allocated time for the meeting, and you can kind of customize how much time you want to spend in each slide through here. So that's kind of like a slide limit for yourself. If you want it to be 1 minute maximum, you can apply that, and then You'll see how much time it's going to take for you in the entire run, and then you can like go ahead and then kind of rehearse what you're going to say. You can also create slide notes for like specific slides if that's going to be apparent, like that's only going to be visible to you, and there you add your notes, like say like you kind of want to touch on something as you're like mentioning like something about the table, you can put that out there. And then also we've gathered a list of body language tips, start like speech tips, talking fast, like those kind of presentation tips from a presentation professional, so that like if you guys have any issues there, you can like just refer to these videos for presentation tips. So that was our rehearsal page. And then a couple other things that I would just want to quickly mention that are like really simple to use as well is you can download your presentations in PDF and PPT format just for the sake of like simplicity, and a lot of our users requested this feature, so you can definitely do that. And then you can also share it easily with a public sharing link, so like you just like copy that link and then share it with whoever needs access to this information. You can also say you have your own website and you would like to embed this presentation into your website. Say you like have a WordPress, and then in the middle of your like landing page, you want to have this presentation accessible to everyone. So we have this embed code where you can directly embed this presentation to your website itself. And then another thing that's fairly recent that we created is the custom domain option. So say you have your own website, and like normally your presentation is usually shared through a Decktopus link. But if you want to add your custom domain to it, you can make it happen here. You add your custom domain, and then the presentation will be your custom domain, which can be like www.jlon.com/ that. It's just like that's where your Decktopus link is going to go. So that's really nice as well, especially for businesses and just people who have their own websites. Another thing we have is adding collaborators. So normally, like, given that this is an online tool, it makes it so much easier for people to just collaborate on the same deck. So you just type in their email address, add them, and then invite them to collaborate with you on this deck. So also really nice. What else do we have? We also have the history part. So like if you made any edits and kind of want to take that back, you can go ahead and kind of revert to one of the older versions, and then it's just going to be like the changes are just going to be immediately taken back. And then you can also see deleted slides here. And then if at any point, obviously, if you have any questions, you can refer to help, or you can refer to the messaging section here, and you can play your deck through the start show button. Kind of maybe you want to walk around just editing another slide, and especially like kind of capitalize on the images and GIFs options we have, because that's probably one of my favorite features that Decktopus offers. Normally, when you're creating a presentation, it's whenever you want to add an image, it's such a hassle because you have to go to another website, download that image or GIF, and then kind of have to like put it on the slide, and sometimes it won't appear as like that in that high quality version. Sometimes you'll have to kind of go back and like find a size that works for your slide deck, and sometimes it's just like so hard to like kind of orient it in the middle of the slide. So Decktopus has that covered for you. What you can do is immediately gain access to endless libraries of images and GIFs. We also have this for quotes and icons. So my go-to is always in these demos, dog, because obviously, why not? So here you can see like you'll have so many options for like endless dog photos that are just like so cute, but kind of got distracted there. But you select it and you'll see it immediately reflects on the slide deck itself. You don't even have to position it. And then you can make it so that the image fits there. You can change its orientation, and then you can go ahead and upload your custom image as well, like if that's something that you would like to do. Other than that, we can again kind of change the view we have and like zoom into the little puppy we have here. And then obviously we have the form feature here. Kind of want to show again how you edit the content itself within the slide. Anything you do here, you can add like links, you can bold it, you can underline it. So many functionalities over there. I'll say Jaylon's sales proposal and you'll see it immediately reflecting there. You can add subtitles, and then you'll also see that we have certain limits when it comes to like content. That is only because before creating this tool, we conducted a lot of research just to specifically like create a tool that will deliver to both the presenters like needs and the audience's needs. And you're probably gonna notice like slides, which is like a lot of text, never work, and you just like lose the audience's attention. So that's why we created like specific limits for characters so that you don't go overboard. And if in case that you do go overboard, we don't let you go overboard because of the slide limits. So you have to kind of keep your content concise and to the point, and kind of it's like Decktopus is in a way like helping you become a better presentation giver, at the same time like helping you create better presentations. So like we're kind of like helping you improve your presentation skills in the meantime. So those are kind of the overall features that I wanted to kind of highlight, and I kind of want to take the time out to get to your questions in case you had any like specific future questions, if you want me to walk you through another feature we have, or anything like that. So definitely opening the floor to you, and if I wanted to add anything for that as well.
Yeah, Jaylan, actually Vivian asked to see the analytics option. Can you just show it from your dashboard?
Would you mind showing that, because my analytics doesn't really work right now, I feel like.
Okay, let's do that. I'm sharing my screen. Yeah, as you can see here, this is my dashboard. And here, as you can see, when I go on my deck, I see edit option, response option, which is only you can see when you have a form inside. For example, the deck I just sent you is this, and I can just see who just left their contact information. And analytics button is here. And when you click it, you see how many times each slide is shown to everyone, how many times it opened, and when was the last time it was opened. So I like this feature a lot because of this one. I like it because, I have a community deck where I'm always sharing a newsletter, and every week I'm trying to optimize my deck. For example, let's go through that deck. For example, as you can see here, I added 2 new slides because first slide has a lot of views and the second slide has not the equal amount of views. That means around 20 people I'm losing at the entrance. So I'm trying to just optimize the deck with, engaging and attracting content.